team, it's your boy Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with why is life in Australia amazing? Americans answer. It's a longer video, so we are going to break this video into 2 parts. Before we jump in, make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. You guys got a video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. What we got?
I love how easygoing the Australian people are. They're so easygoing. When it comes to religion, they're way more uptight and they don't really want to talk about it. But when it comes to just general life, they'll talk to you. And they're just so easygoing and so, like fun to talk to. They've always got a funny one-liner to say. They've always got, usually the people that would talk to us, they were so chill and relaxed. They'd come to the door like with no clothes on, which I didn't particularly like. It just kind of showed how comfortable they were and how, they didn't care much at all.
Yeah, that's definitely a laid back, chill attitude. Just answer the door, no clothes on, you see everything. Wait, it's just a laid back vibe. I rock with it.
And so it made me feel more comfortable, their attitude towards it all. And so that's one thing that I just loved about the Australians. They were so easygoing and friendly, like really nice people. Other than religion. Not all the time with religion. In general, they were really like nice and friendly and open and easy to talk to. So that's what I loved about them. One thing that I wish the American did was the school system. They had high school, and then their last 2 years of high school would be called college. And they would start their college, like electives and stuff.
Really?
And their generals in high school. It's kind of an early time to choose what you want to do for college, but they don't have to do generals in college because they do it in high school.
That's smart.
But I love that. That was so cool.
I got to do that with math when I was in high school, but because I finished all my high school math courses a year early, so they let me take some college math courses, and that was really cool. But so being able to finish all your generals and then go into college and then just get to focus on your major, I think that's awesome. I think that I would have saved a lot of money. I'll tell you that. But keep it going.
School, which is college, but I love that. That was so cool. One example of the way that the Australians are, though, with their hospitality and cool, I had a lady in my ward. She's incredible, such a great lady. And she just called us up one day and said, "Hey, sister, do you want to come to the beach with me? Out to the coast? We're going to go visit some members." I said, "Okay." And so what we did is we drove out there, 2.5 hours out there. And she took us out to get fish and chips. And we just chatted the whole time. And then we went over to her friend's house, to a member's house, and we just taught them. And then she drove us all the way home. And it was just because she wanted to. They're just so easygoing and friendly. And it was just in the middle of the day, randomly. She was just like, "Hey, you want to go?"
I love that.
Yeah, let's go. And the lady, called her that day. She's like, "Yeah, come over. It's all good. It's fine. No worries." I loved it.
I love that.
So it's a very, you have left and right wing here, and overall it's much more to the left over in Australia. And I don't know if you would say socialist or whatever, but the government is a lot more involved. And for example, we had the American Healthcare Act passed, but there it's kind of just been ingrained in their culture that if you're an Australian citizen, then you get free healthcare. And so I had Australian companions that would just go up and they had their card, and they just give it to the doctor and not pay anything for a medical visit. And that has pros and cons, and you have longer waits sometimes to have surgery and all this. You have all this debate, and whether or not it's good for here, I don't know. But I had never really met an Australian that was unhappy with how healthcare was. They all loved it and would talk it up.
I feel that's I feel that's a great thing, and I feel the pros outweigh any cons, because it's you can go get help right when you're sick. You don't have to wait till it gets terrible, till you need a surgery or you need something major. As soon as you start feeling sick, you don't hesitate to go to the hospital. Whereas here, as soon as I feel a lot of people get sick, we try to do everything possible before going to the hospital. So we try to buy all the over-the-counter medications, try to do home remedies. I feel like that you try everything possible before you actually go to the hospital, and all that time not going could worsen whatever sickness you have or anything. And then there's just so many people without health care, and so I think the pros outweigh the cons in that situation, in the way they do health care.
Was like unhappy with how healthcare was. They all like loved it and would talk it up. I'd just say, as a whole, Australians are a lot more laid back than people are in the U.S. They're not overall as big of a hurry. They're just laid back, but they're also, I would say, and this is going to sound negative when I say it, but I don't mean it to be, they're a lot more almost rude. For example, when you walk into a store here, most of the time you're greeted and asked if there's anything you can do for help, or anything they can do to help you. And there, it's not like that at all. You're like, walk into a store, and if you need help, then you go find somebody to help you. And they'll help you, but it's not like they're at the front door waiting for you to come in. People, like, when you go knock on their door, it seems rude at first that they'll just like tell you to go away. But you start, at least for me, I stopped seeing it as rude and just started seeing it as like they don't want you, like they don't want to waste your time, they don't want to waste their time, and so they'll just kind of tell you to go away. And it seems rude, but it's just that's what they think and that's what they tell you. And so I think it's culturally just a little bit different than we are here, where somebody comes and knocks on your door, and even if you don't really want them there a lot of the time, then you'll like find a roundabout way to tell them to go away and not be as abrasive about it. And so that's just kind of a few differences in culture.
We like to beat
also,
around the bush.
Kind of another thing, there's Aboriginals, like native Australians. There's a big push to try and a lot of them are in kind of slums, and they drink a lot. And there's a pretty big push in the government to try and get them back incorporated into society, so that's kind of an issue that they're trying to deal with over there. I feel like even a little bit more than we are with Native Americans here, even though it's some of the same issue.
Do the Aboriginals like want to be back like incorporated in the society, or do they want to kind of still do things their own way and stick to their traditions and their way of life? Is what I'm interested in. Because y'all let me know in the comment section. I have no idea, but I'll be intrigued to know.
Even a little bit more than we are with Native Americans here, even though it's some of the same issues that are common to both groups of people. The school there is handled, and they have their public education system, but it's actually interesting. A lot more people send their kids to private schools, and so that's. I feel like it's kind of big here in Utah to send your kids to private or charter schools, but it's a lot bigger there. I think that in general, though, Australians are they're very positive about living there. They enjoy the benefits that they have. They don't mind paying higher taxes most of the time. I mean, you get the politics there too, but like they get more vacation time, I feel like, a lot of the time than we do here, and
love it.
They get more benefits from the government than we do here. I'm not exactly sure what the minimum wage there is, but a lot of the base wages are quite a bit higher. Like I mentioned earlier, if you're working at McDonald's, you're probably making $15 an hour, or at the movie theater, like $20 an hour. So it's just it's a lot different, and the cost of living is higher, but you get more money and you can manage that more how you like.
Yeah.
Then again, to go to the movies, it's like $18 to $20, whereas it's $8 to $11 here or whatever it is. But it's a lot of things like that are almost twice as expensive than they are here in the U.S.
Adelaide, Darwin, and Alice Springs are three completely different worlds. Adelaide is hot and dry, and it gets a little bit of cold in their winter, so their seasons are flopped. Christmas is the hottest day of the year. July 4th is pretty cold. So it's a little weird to have that hot Christmas, or have the different seasons that are changed. Alice Springs is almost it's same. It's very dry. It's a lot of red rock, red dirt. I can remember some of the missionaries that would go up to Alice Springs and then come back. Their shirts would be almost like a little red just tint to them. So you might need to pick up some new shirts if you get transferred out of Alice Springs. Just something to think about, just because the dirt and the red rock, the red sand all over the place. It is a different world. And then Darwin is extremely tropical. They have 2 seasons. They have the wet season and the dry season. That's it. The wet season, it will rain every single day. Jeez. And if you're from Utah or a drier climate, you don't know what rain is until you've been there. And it is so wet. I can remember my shoes just being wet every day, just because the air is humid. It's so hard to get stuff to dry.
Wow.
I can remember me and my companion were on our bikes, and this was my first day in Darwin. And it rains during the wet season. It rains every day, but we didn't know that. I mean, we both were actually.
That would definitely be a culture shock, 100%, for it just to rain every day. It's like, my Lord. Especially, I live here in Texas, and you get rain, but it never, I feel like, will rain for 24 hours straight. Maybe it has, and I'm forgetful, but I don't know. I don't think it rains. It's rained 24 hours straight, and for it to rain every single day, that would be a huge shock.
During the wet season, it rains every day, but we didn't know that. I mean, we both were actually new missionaries being transferred to that area, and we heard this sound. We're like, what the heck is that sound? And we're just sitting on our bikes, and you can hear the rain coming before it even gets to you. I mean, that's how hard it rains. And it started pouring on us. Luckily, there are bus stops all over the place that are covered. And so those will be your go-to spots if you get up in Darwin. You'll cruise your bike or run to the bus stop. Usually it'll rain for 10 or 15 minutes and it goes away.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's
okay.
3 different worlds.
I thought he was meaning it was raining 24/7, every day, nonstop.
So it's really cool. You'll have, if you go to either of them, you will have a very different experience at each of them, and they are both all have their positive aspects about them for sure. Very hot in all 3 places, at least in the summer. Hot and humid up in Darwin, hot and dry the other 2 places. So definitely something to be ready for.
Yeah.
And to be willing to still work just as hard in those days as well. One of the things I thought that when I got off the plane, I thought I was going to see kangaroos in the front yards of people's houses. Really is not the case. I mean, they're pretty much like deer. You'll see them out in the open fields. If you're way out in the middle of nowhere, you'll see them. Unfortunately, they've gotten hit by cars and stuff like that crossing the road. But the main place you'll see them is in the zoo. So you have the chance to go to some wildlife parks where they just sort of hop around. They don't keep them in little enclosures, which is really nice. You can go feed them and you can pet them and all that stuff.
Cool.
But yeah, don't expect to see just kangaroos all over the place, because that's really not the case. And another thing to sort of say, do your research on the, poisonous bugs, just different things in Australia. That's something I did not do. And when I look back on my time there,
I feel like I would definitely do my research on any poisonous bugs or the wildlife, because they got the deadliest creatures out there.
I mean, obviously, I feel 100%, protected, but, as a missionary. But there were some experiences now that I've learned of all the poisonous and dangerous things that Australia has, I am blown away that I did not get, bitten by a snake or, crocodiles or whatever. Because there's so many different things, and really I was sort of clueless to that and sort of learned as I went. So I definitely, don't let us scare you, obviously.
Yeah.
It's very much like, if you live in Utah, we have dangerous spiders and stuff like that, but you never see them. It's very similar, but you just want to make sure that you're going, or you're not doing stuff that's going to get you in dangerous situations, because you very easily could.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like most videos I've seen with Australians talk about the wildlife, like, they're not really afraid of it because they don't come in contact with it too often. And a lot of the animals that they do come in contact with, like, are the ones that aren't poisonous. And they're like, as long as you're, like, looking out for your surroundings and everything, just aware of your environment, then you really don't have anything to worry about. But that's all we got for this part. If you guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, give the video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. It's your boy D Neal. Out.